AM 1220 KHTS HometownStation.com. We're here with your Providence Holy Cross Hour today. I am T, normally with you Monday through Friday on your drive time from 3 to 7, but today I get to be part of Providence Holy Cross, which is always very exciting to me. And today we're speaking with Sherri Mendelson, who's the Magnet Program Director over at Providence Holy Cross. And I would love to learn a little bit more, Sherri, if you will. How does Magnet advance the nursing profession at Providence Holy Cross?
You know, that's a great question, and particularly one of the requirements of Magnet is that we have to look at how many of our nurses are certified in their specialty areas, and we need to improve upon that each year. We also need to look at how many of our nurses have at least a bachelor's degree or higher, and we are expected to improve upon that each year. So part of that excellence that Magnet drives within our nursing department at Providence Holy Cross is the encouragement of our nurses to return to school and to study and get their certifications. And it's been shown over and over again in research studies that certified nurses and bachelor's prepared nurses or above really result in better outcomes for the patients and better nursing satisfaction for the nurses.
Well, because medicine is constantly growing and changing too, it's an organism that it's evolving and it's expanding, it goes back, it looks at things that have happened, it tries something new. I have to think that at the nursing level, especially, as if you guys are tied in and you're learning what, kind of alongside what's happening, it has to, there's no way it couldn't be great for the patients, so that you guys are up on top of all of that. And the Magnet program, if you're encouraging your nurses, because there's constantly, I see it all the time, events where nurses can come in and get certification in a particular area of study. And so since you have that bar of excellence that you set, I have to believe that the nurse that comes to Providence, who's employed by Providence, looks at this and already has that desire, as you did when you were young, that kind of in your heart, the idea you wanted to continue learning, even though at that point you didn't have these kind of programs available to you, did you, back in the day?
We had some early certification programs, and I actually got certified in my specialty fairly early. And I don't know what my vision was at the time, but I think I knew that it meant something, and it meant something to me personally as far as showing myself that I really had the knowledge to do the job I was doing.
I think that's incredible that you again had that from the very early point, and I think being a nurse, you have that thirst for knowledge and understanding, and the idea that you offer that to your nurses. If they come in with that desire, you're helping them figure out where they can go next. And is there also a way that the programs or the classes are designated? Do you find in your nurses the areas that they excel in? And do you say, you seem to have, is there like a mentorship in the Magnet program where you see someone and you say, I notice you have in this area a real propensity or a gift for this. Do you guide them a little bit in that, or do you let them sort of find that for themselves as they're going?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I think one of our responsibilities at Holy Cross that I think we take very seriously at all areas within nursing is that we do have a responsibility to identify excellence, identify potential, and mentor our nurses towards that potential. And so they may really, and it may not be from day one as a new nurse.
You see it as over time.
But over time, you might see that they really shine in taking a leadership role. And you want to mentor them towards that. And it's not a quick process. It's not, today I noticed that you have leadership capabilities and tomorrow you're going to be a leader. It takes time and training and mentorship. But there's also that you might notice that they have a great propensity for teaching, patient teaching or teaching the newer nurses in their unit. It may be that you notice they have a great propensity for asking questions, which is the great lead in to any research. So you really notice what they get, and that is actually part of the magnet journey, is that ability to recognize the potential in our nurses and help lead them in that direction and give them the tools they need to achieve their direction.
Now, do you remember a time when you were young, because I'm going to name the unnamed person in the room. You've brought your granddaughter with you today. Was there ever a point in your youth, when you were young as she was, where you thought to yourself, because I didn't know you when you were 15, but were you one of those kids constantly asking the questions or being a bit of a leader? Do you look back at, because I always think when kids are this age, there's a lot of pressure now to start thinking. And at 15 in high school, where are you going? What are you doing? What are you going to study? And it's like, wow, what? How do you know at 15? But can you see, looking back at some of the qualities you had as a young person, where you thought, yeah, I do sort of see how that played into who I became?
Well, that's a really interesting question and a bit of a difficult one, because I was not a good student.
But were you curious, even if you didn't have the study skills?
And that's the answer, is that I was very curious. I took classes that were not necessarily required because they were interesting. Political science I took in high school. I took British literature and things that...
And we say to students now, what are you going to do with that?
Well, exactly.
But your curiosity, you can learn study skills. But the curiosity, I think, would actually, because I'm thinking if someone's listening right now and could I be a nurse, or could my daughter or son, is this an area? Because with the silver tsunami coming, nursing is going to be something at so many levels we're going to require as a nation. And if you're looking at your son, your daughter, your granddaughter, your grandson, kids, I mean, these are the kind of things that are going to make good nurses. And we'll talk a little bit about that too when we come back. One of the things I'd love to discuss is nursing research next. And then we will touch a little bit about programs for kids. And because I'd love to hear your take on how to guide young people into the nursing profession at a very early age. You're listening to the Providence Holy Cross Hour here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be back after these messages. Don't leave. AM 1220 KHTS, your hometown station. You are listening to the Providence Holy Cross Hour. I am T. I am normally with you Monday through Friday during your drive time, 3 to 7. But today I get to be here on behalf of Providence Holy Cross, speaking with Sherri Mendelson, who not only is the Magnet Program Director over at Providence Holy Cross, she's the Director of Nursing Research. Talk to me a little bit about, first of all, what nursing research is.
Well, that's a great question, and I think it's a question that a lot of people understand maybe what research is, but when you say nursing research, it's like, what do nurses research?
Yeah, what are we doing? And what are we talking about?
We research questions related to patients and patient care to find the best answers for how to take care of our patients, how to teach our patients, how to provide care. We also do research having to do with nursing. What is the best way for nurses to provide care? What is the best way for nurses to be more satisfied and stay with the place that they're working?
Very interesting.
And in addition to all of that, we partner with our interprofessional teams to do research that might affect all of us or all of our patients across those interprofessional lines.
Now, you've used a phrase twice now. I'm curious. You talk about teaching patients. Talk to me a little bit about teaching patients. Because you think of a patient checking in, and basically someone's looking after them. I'm very curious from the nursing perspective, what does that phrase mean to teach a patient?
Well, one of the things that we're expected to do while a patient is in the hospital is the doctor will come up with a diagnosis. And within that diagnosis, we, as part of that interprofessional team, we are expected to inform the patient more in detail about that diagnosis.
Right, so the doctor comes in with a 6-syllable Latin name for whatever's bothering you, and your job is to distill that down and say, okay, this is what he's talking about?
Correct, and I'll give you a good example, which is diabetes. And a patient who's diagnosed with diabetes really needs to know more in detail about what the disease is, what the symptoms are, symptoms of health, symptoms of illness, how to take the medication and what happens if they forget to take the medication, etc. They need all of the details about what to eat and when to eat in relation to their medications. And if they don't get that information and good solid education that they understand, and we know they understand it, when they go home, they won't be able to manage their disease state well, and they will wind up back in the hospital as patients. And it's our job to help that not to happen.
I think that's a great message for anyone who's listening, because there are a lot of times I believe I've seen in my own experience where a patient will go into the hospital or to a doctor, make me better. Well, here's the deal about you. You are in charge of you, and you need to be the person. And the idea that the nurse will come in and help you be the better you is probably something, the minute they come through that door, all right, we're going to help you, but now we're going to help you. So I think that's amazing that this is something that you bring to your nurses immediately. It's not just now about taking care of someone, it's helping someone learn to take care of them so that you don't have frequent flyers or repeat visitors, and that you can help the next person, and you get to, again, sort of raise the bar not only for nursing care, but now patients to help themselves.
Correct. Well, what we're looking to do within nursing and as the whole interprofessional team is bringing health not only to help patients in the hospital become healthier to leave the hospital, but for health within our entire community. And it's not a short-term goal, it's a short-term and long-term goal, so that we slowly but surely can increase the health in our community and have less admissions, let alone less readmissions.
It's really important, and especially when it comes down to helping the community at large. I would have to believe it takes a little pressure off of you guys if everyone's kind of in this together. So nursing research, it's beneficial to the entire community. It's beneficial to patients. As someone who is part of this nursing research, I'm curious as the questions come in, is this the kind of thing that, as a very curious individual and one who thirsts for knowledge, do you find yourself at a stoplight every now and then going, oh, I got to take this in to see if this is something we can look at?
That question actually makes me laugh, because there are many mornings on my way to work that I get to work, and the first thing I have to do is take out a pad of paper and write down the questions I had on the way to work.
Right, because it's constantly evolving and growing, and I love the idea that you say you were always sort of a curious person, and that this does continue to serve you and the community and the patients and the doctors. I have to believe the doctors look at your program and go, oh my gosh, you make our lives so much better. I hope they do at any rate.
Well, it is very interesting, because I think we have a number of research studies going on right now, and some of the doctors are very engaged with us on those studies, and it will make life better for them. It will make life better in some of the studies for patients, and it will make life better for nurses. And I think for all of the different realms that are involved within the healthcare setting, it becomes very important. And I think that those research questions actually come, certainly on my way to work I get some of them, but I might get a call from a nurse just randomly who has a research idea and wants to talk about it.
When we come back from the break, I'd love to hone in on one particular area of research, what you're doing right now, and have you open that up a little bit and walk me through that process. When we return, we'll be speaking again with Sherri Mendelson, Director of Nursing Research and Magnet Program Director of Providence Holy Cross, here on the Providence Holy Cross Hour on your AM 1220 KHTS hometown station.